On this week's episode of Warehouse Safety Tips, we're going to be talking about acting as if. So stay tuned.
Welcome to Warehouse Safety Tips. If you're a seasoned vodcast viewer, this vodcast is going to be different from most that you watch. It's based around exactly what the name implies, Warehouse Safety Tips. And since the people in this industry are busy, we know that time is money, so each episode will be as short and to the point as possible. And now, with all that out of the way, let's get to the vodcast.
On this week's episode of Warehouse Safety Tips, the audio version was actually done by a virtual voice because yours truly has been having all sorts of respiratory issues. So we wanted to go ahead and put out a video to make up for the virtual voice and just let you know that we're here and, kind of moving on. But with that said, we're talking about acting as if. Now, what we mean by that is something very simple, and that is, have you ever went to a job or been in a job where when you get to the end of your shift, the people that come in start complaining about the people that were there before, or at the beginning of a shift, when you get in there, all you do is complain about the person that was there before you, or any version of that. The thing that you need to think about is, what would it be like if you had to follow you? What would you do different? I brought this up because I was talking about the battery stations in factories and facilities that I've worked in before. It's always one of the most notorious places for issues. It doesn't matter if it's damage to the batteries or damage to the connections or just things being left in a very, very haphazard manner. It was just always one of the places where the most bottlenecks and issues happened. And I always thought to myself, would these people act like this if they were the ones following themselves? And so you have to think about it. When you walk into your facility, would you stamp your feet a lot more? And make sure that your feet were clean before you walk through with your boots with debris or ice or snow or just wetness on them? Would you make sure that lights were changed? Would you make sure that batteries were, kept up to date? What are the things that you would do and the just protocols that you would follow if you followed you? Can you imagine how easy your job would be if you set yourself up to be able to come into a job and work exactly as you needed to? That is how you need to act. Not because of OSHA regulations, not because bosses are watching you, not because you're trying to please the person before you, but because you're doing a job as good as you can possibly do every single time. Anything worth doing is worth doing perfectly. Okay? So if you think about you following you and you behave as if, that is exactly what this podcast is all about, is acting as if. Acting as if the person that you are getting ready to prepare the job for is you. How would you want things to be left? And if you do that, you're going to do absolutely great for you, your facility, and your coworkers, and things are going to be awesome. So until next time, enjoy a word from one of our sponsors.
You want an organized workspace. You want a safe and efficient way to lay out your shop or warehouse. But it takes forever to mask and paint the floor lines, only to watch them fade and smear and have to do it all over again. The solution? Mighty Line Tape. Mighty Line floor tape is simply the most durable floor tape available. It's 7 times thicker than most other floor tapes. It's beveled on the edges so it can handle an army of forklifts. And it comes up anytime with no scraping and no residue. Why mess with the mess and the fumes of floor paint when Mighty Line has the rolls, shapes, colors, and signs that fall right in line with 5S standards? There's a place for everything, and everything has its place. That's why we're here. There's only one American-made Mighty Line tape, the only durable stripe.
You can find the show notes to each episode, links to information mentioned on the vodcast, the social media platforms we're on, and anything else related to the vodcast at warehousesafetytips.com. And if you want to catch our podcast and or request a sample pack of Mighty Line, visit mightylinetape.com/safety tips. Thank you for watching Warehouse Safety Tips and have a safe day.